Good afternoon. My name is Dalene Allen, Executive Director of BNI Nova Scotia. What does BNI stand for? Business Network International. And I am thrilled to introduce you to one of our BNI members, Scott Pettie from PCWizrd. And I want to tell you a little bit about Scott because he's your best friend, especially if you're working from home today. I am not a computer geek, although thanks to Scott over the years that the number of things that I have messed up, he has never not been able to help me get out of whatever mess I have created, and worse on my part, but amazing on his part, and very, very often remotely. So how many of you out there are working from home going, ah, Scott is your man. So Scott, tell us all about what PCWizrd really is all about.
Thank you for inviting me today, Dalene. So PCWizrd originally started as a hardware break fix company back in early 2000s. We were just trying to help people fix their computers at the time. Here we are in 2020, so it's come a long way over that time. And we've transitioned into doing remote support. So we work from our home office. This is just part of the room that I occupy. There's a cat sitting right just off frame who's trying to not fall off the couch. So expect she'll fall on me here shortly. So what we do is we support Windows, Mac, Linux servers, networking, training, security, and a large assortment of other things. We like to present ourselves as consultants, solutions consultants. You give us a problem, we'll give you a solution. And if I don't have the solution, I will find somebody who does.
And let me tell you, Scott, that is so true that I don't think there's ever been a time that you've been stumped by something I asked. And if you didn't know it, you went back and you found out and got back to me. I have to tell you, Scott's customer service is phenomenal. And especially in the type of business that he's in, good customer service, we all know when that computer goes down, our life shuts down. So Scott, tell us how people have moved from an office atmosphere to home atmosphere, to be working from home. What are some things they really need to be cognizant of?
So most businesses that have transitioned to a home-based would break down to what I view as two. You have an organization that has IT already, in which case most of them have their own IT work from home plan in place, and they're assisting staff to get themselves up and running. I'm happy to help IT get to that point. I'm happy to help you transition with your IT. Most of the people I work with are the latter, which is people who just have a computer that they now use at home using their internet service provider's devices, whatever that may be. So most home users are limited by their Wi-Fi connections or their internet connections, or finding a space to safely work in where they can keep a peace of mind. What I've been doing with my clients who were not already transitioned to working from home has been dialing into a couple of clients remotely on their machines, talking as we are doing right now, either on the phone or in a video. And some clients I've done the video had them walk around with their cell phone and say, okay, I need you to show me where your equipment is. I need to see the lights on the equipment. And this has usually been because somebody's had a bad wireless connection. It's very difficult to do a Wi-Fi survey remotely, but it's not impossible. And we figured out a way to make that work for people. And then when we identify the problems, I have links to equipment that we can just ship directly to you. All you got to do is plug it in, turn it on, you're good to go. If any remote support needs to happen, I can do it from here.
Exactly. And at times like this, that is just critical to be able to offer that. Some of the things that you've taught me over the years, Scott, is to always be able to, and I know that's one of your services that I love best, is the fact that you back up everything that I do. So talk a little bit about that, because I think that's the other thing. If we're doing all this work from home, we want to make sure we're not losing it somewhere.
So a good practice is the 3-2-1 scenario. 3 copies of the document that you're working on, 2 locations of that document, one of them needs to be offsite. A good percentage of people nowadays are working in the cloud, be that Microsoft Office 365 or Google Drive. your two primary ones. There are quite a few others, but those are the ones most people work with. If you read your end user licensing agreement from either of those providers, they're not responsible to keep a backup copy of your data. They'll help you in the event that something goes wrong, and something in this instance being, I deleted a file by accident, or I made a change to my master template and I need that template back. They don't keep a backup copy of that information because they have the current live document. Now, there is some caveats to that, that if you have the subscription models in place, yes, they do that. Most people don't. So what we provide is we provide two different solutions: the workstation backup, so your actual Windows or Mac machine, and there's also a cloud solution to back up Office 365 or Google Drive. So that in the event something goes missing, give us a phone call, send me an email, send in a support ticket to our website, give me half hour just to catch up to myself, get a hold of you, make sure it's the right documents, hit restore, and you're done. It usually only takes a few minutes once we figure out exactly which document you're looking for.
That's amazing. And you've done that for me on many occasions, Scott. Some of the other things that you've just recently been teaching me about, and I'm so glad that I didn't even know they were things that I wanted to know about, the security today of people hacking into our systems, into our programs, and holding people for ransom.
Yeah, so one of the hobbies I've had up until recently has been what's referred to as an ethical hacker, which is breaking into secured environments or testing secured environments to make sure they actually are secured. So I've been going through schooling to expand my knowledge and make that to the next position within my my career. The majority of hacks that everyone's aware of would be what's in the media known as ransomware. If your machine gets taken by ransomware, what it will do is it will encrypt any document that it can get access to on your computer, any connected USB drives, any connected network drives. And as they get more and more advanced, they're hitting your Office 365 OneDrive, your Google Drive, your Dropbox, and cloud-based solutions as well. If it's linked to your computer, it's a vulnerable target. So the way that it does this is it takes a file. So let's say we created a Word document. We had called it, mycustomers.doc. Saved it on your desktop. Okay, normally that's great. And let's say you have a backup solution in place that's not myself. Also great. You backed up your machine. You've got your USB drive plugged in. You get hit with a ransom. It encrypts the drive that you've got connected, which is your backup drive. It's got your local machines back encrypted as well. Well, now you've got nothing. So what do you do? Well, most of these are ransoms. You can't just simply turn them back off again. And I definitely do not encourage paying the ransom to get your information back. Local law enforcement should be engaged. IT professionals such as myself should be engaged, and then we'll deal with it for you. But at the end of the day, as long as that document is encrypted, it's gone. Just assume it's gone.
Yeah. So again, I'm sitting here going, I know I've had your service and backed up because I've never really, thanks to you, in all of the years that we've done business together, ever lost everything. Never. A few things, but never. You've always been able to get back like 90% of anything that I have screwed up. And I do that really well. And Scott's really good at getting it back. Because as we're sitting here going, oh my goodness, to lose what was on my computer would be like, that's the end of my business. And luckily I already work from home, but for many of us that are in that situation of now we're doing this as the new normal. And Scott, one of the other services that I absolutely love, because this would be the bane of my existence, tell them about the new password thing that you do, because I think that is so brilliant.
So when I met Dalene or I meet yourselves, the scenario is you probably have the same password that you use everywhere. Or you happen to have a physical piece of paper with your passwords written on it. Or you've got a sticky note stuck to your monitor with your passwords written on it. This is normal. It's not right, but it's normal. So You've probably heard over the years that you should be using a password manager, or that you should have what's known as a complex password. Well, complex passwords are really hard for people to remember. Um, by a complex password, I mean letters, uppercase, lowercase, a number, special characters, a minimum length, usually 8 to 10 characters long. It can't be a word, and it can't be, at least it shouldn't be, something that's easily identifiable from somebody's social media. Reality is that people still do it. So people use password 123 all of the time, but they'll use it as a capital P, an @ symbol, a $sign, a W, the number 0, RD123. That meets the security requirements. Doesn't mean it's a right. So what we've done for Dalene and for our other clients is we provide them with a product known as Bitwarden, and it allows them to only have to remember one password, the password to get into their Bitwarden. It then remembers and generates passwords for anything else that they use. And it's forced to use the advanced settings. And it goes one step farther that we also educate/enforce that our clients have to be using multi-factor authentication or two-factor authentication, by which I mean you have to have a physical device. So there's a random number generator on my phone to generate my code for my one password. So I have a very long, very complicated, very often changed one master password. Then I have the phone. Then I have the computer. It's not to say it's impossible for somebody to hack into my data. It's not. The reality is security at best is only 99%.
Oh, still, but 99%, Scott, and the amount of time that it takes to try to remember or find the piece of paper or the Post-it note, that this service is just, well, it's brilliant. I mean, you have no idea how many arguments my husband and I have had, likely over passwords, right? And once you try a password, how many times, and then they lock you out for an hour, you just really ticked for the next hour because you have to wait, try 5 more times and see what can go on. Oh, never a dull moment.
It's interesting, Dalene, that the solution I have yourself on and myself has a tool in it called Have I Been Pwned, which will check all of your password hash IDs to see if they have been leaked in any of these breach information that's come out. So that you can find out, oh, you know what? The password I was using for XYZ's website was hacked, and now that password's no longer safe because it's been used by other people. It's now available online for people to use.
Oh, wow.
Our tools will tell us that that password is no longer safe and will help us get those changed.
That's
So
amazing.
you don't have to worry about tracking when there's a breach. The tools we're utilizing take care of that.
Wow. Now, one of our BNI members, we were on a Zoom meeting yesterday or last week, and he was having a real challenge getting good, what would you call it, a really bumpy situation where he'd freeze frame and you couldn't hear him. And you were able to go in and help determine that his Wi-Fi, there was something with his Wi-Fi. Want to talk about that?
So his was actually a pretty simple conversation. We established that where he was sitting in the building relative to his Wi-Fi device, he was getting too much interference because he was in a condominium or an apartment situation where there's always other units in the proximity that are also sharing the same Wi-Fi space. So we just moved him into another area. Now, similarly, earlier in the week, I had a different client, exact same situation. I was able to get a solid connection to their machine, and we changed their Wi-Fi channel to a different channel, and the problem went away.
Wow. And you were able to do that remotely. So who out there in social media land needs Scott? You can see his PCWizrd, his logo down here. Anything else that at this particular time of our lives going through coronavirus that you would make recommendations for people, Scott, for their social media, for their internet?
I would say outside of general IT usage, set yourself up with a comfortable workspace. Make sure you have a good chair. Make sure you have a good mouse. If you're using a laptop, get yourself an external mouse. You'll take your hands will thank you. Sometimes even getting an external keyboard is also a good idea.
Mm.
Make sure everything that is ergonomically correct. So right now I'm on my laptop in my living room, but I have my table that I use it all on set up at the proper height. When I'm in my office, uh, it's all at the proper heights and everything. I just happen to get better lighting sitting here right now, which I expect the majority of people out there are doing the same thing. They're sitting in their kitchen, they're sitting in their dining room, their bedroom, wherever they are. Just make sure you're comfortable. The computer itself, let me take care of the computer, but take care of yourself, because I can't show up and help you do that in person, but I can
Right.
help you do it over video.
Yes. Well, and not only that, it's putting our shoulders back, getting up every little while, and yeah, treat yourself well while you're working from home, but you do not want any computer glitches. And if you run into one, touch base with Scott Pettie from PCWizrd. He truly is a wizard. And Scott, I got to thank you for same thing. I wouldn't have a business if it weren't for you and taking such good care of me. But anyway, have a great day,
Now, it's a
everybody.
delight to make sure you're taken care of, dear.
Thank you.